Good evening, everybody. Brian Neubert here from goldenblack.com, all by himself in the concourse of a very empty, a very dark Mackey Arena. Normal spots went dark on me, so I'm up here trying to shoot this video someplace. This is your wrap video following Purdue's 98-51 exhibition game win over Grace College. I'm going to try not to wobble while I stand here doing this. No promises. Thank you to the Purdue Club Hotel for your promotional support. We appreciate it very much. Again, if I did not have a house in West Lafayette, I would be staying at the Purdue Club Hotel tonight. I promise you that. Once again, 98-51 Purdue over Grace College. Typical exhibition game fodder. I think Grace College is a really good team at their level, but their level is a different galaxy from what Purdue's level is, especially at this moment in time with where Purdue is right now. As good as Purdue figures to be, as physically overwhelming as Purdue certainly is, things like that. So the outcome here was really never a question as much as the process to that outcome. This was a great opportunity for Purdue to just throw a bunch of dudes out there, let them play, let them get some good cardio in, let them show what they can do, let them play through some mistakes, things like that. Play guys at different positions, whatever. Just get crazy. Just as I wrote a couple times tonight, Matt Painter was kind of playing mad scientist a little bit in the sense that I think at one point in time he had Heide, Colvin, and Brian Waddell, all the wings out there together. Caleb first saw minutes at the 5, which is going to be pertinent to what he does this season for Purdue. Ethan Morton played a lot of point guard in the second half. That's going to be pertinent to what he does this season as well. And this was a good opportunity to just let Ross-Ade, Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer break a sweat and then get the hell to the bench because they didn't need to play 20 minutes tonight. Camden Heide, Miles Colvin, those guys did. And I think what you saw was a lot of promise from Miles Colvin and Camden Heide and the sort of physical ability that they bring to the table here, and how much that can help Purdue if they can get it up to speed. Things like that. So get those guys as much experience as you can right now. See if you can trust them. See if you can rely on them. And if you can, get them out there because the upside is pretty considerable for both. Both of them complete this team to a certain extent. Both of them have physical elements that Purdue does not otherwise have, did not have last season. And if you can get them up to code here, that is part of where Purdue's upside as a team sort of lies, more athletic than anything. But the biggest thing for me from this game, my opinion, was the biggest thing that stood out was not only Ross-Ade, who was awesome in a game. He's an awesome player, and he's playing in a game he should dominate, but more so Braden Smith. And I think the two kind of go together because I think that Braden Smith, the way he's approaching offense now, is really going to unlock something in Ross-Ade, and Ross-Ade is really going to unlock something in Braden Smith. You've seen through 2 exhibitions Braden Smith being really aggressive, looking for his pull-up jumper, his pull-up 3 in that little 2-man game with Ross-Ade and pick and roll. And that's going to force defenses to plan for that as much as anything. That might be the starting point on defensive scouting reports, is make sure you get Braden Smith covered up coming off those ball screens. And that's going to open up that's going to create some dunks for Edie, things like that. That's going to create some backside threes for somebody who's going to be wide open, which then begs the question, the only question, can Purdue make those shots? Again, arguably the single biggest key to Purdue's success this season is just making open threes. It really is that simple. But I think this ball screen stuff that Purdue has going with Braden Smith and Ross-Ade right now, they were good last year. I think you're seeing it going to an entirely different level right now. And I know that seems a little granular from an analysis perspective after an exhibition game, but I do think there's something to this that's going to make Braden Smith a lot better, and it's going to make Ross-Ade a lot better. I think Braden Smith is about to erupt. I don't know if there's anybody in the Big Ten, and I think there's a lot of guys you're going to see make a big jump from one year to the next in the Big Ten this year. I don't know if anybody's on the verge of a bigger breakout than Braden Smith, provided he's healthy, which I'm not sure he is right now even. But he sure doesn't look like he's hindered in any way. I think you're going to see a really big year from him scoring the basketball, but also assists, also being the proverbial straw that stirs the drink on a great team, things like that. I think you're going to see him take a jump defensively, and that's going to answer a lot of questions for Purdue as well, because you have a pretty good core of perimeter defenders here, too, that maybe they help. Maybe that materializes into making you a better defensive team. Maybe not. We'll see. But I think that Purdue has some nice options around the perimeter here. But I think Braden Smith is going to go to an entirely different level this season and make Purdue a lot better off because of it. So, what else we got here? So, once again, this was not really a game that Purdue prepared for extensively. I think this was more a game about Purdue just going out there and playing than it was about specifically preparing for Grace College, much the same as it was for Arkansas. And if you're an Arkansas fan who's been blowing me up here the last couple days, leave me alone, okay? Your coach said on the record that you were watching video of Shaquille O'Neal prepare for Purdue, okay? You go ask your coaches if they watch the games from Europe from Purdue. Purdue did not prepare for Arkansas. So the people who are in my mentions yelling at me about damage control, first of all, there was no damage because the game didn't matter. The game didn't count. Second of all, Arkansas prepared to win. Purdue prepared to develop. That was the reality of it. So leave me alone. You know where those refs were from. You know where the one guy lives, right down there in Arkansas. And it's not whining. It's just the reality of what happened. So I'm shadowboxing with Arkansas fans right now, assuming they're watching me talking about Purdue and Grace College. Never mind. So that's what I got from the Grace College game. We'll be back here Monday night when the season officially opens against Samford, who is promising to send a 5'7.5" guy out to take the jump ball against Ross-Ade, which would be a great thing for their program to do. It would get them on. It would get them some viral punch. I'd imagine that would be a fun thing to do. But wanted to say something too about. I know this isn't really a Purdue story. Well, it is a Purdue story, but the whole night was sort of, no pun intended. Obviously, Bob Knight's death, the news of it hitting right before this game was something that kind of rippled through Mackey Arena. Purdue had a moment of silence. Obviously, Matt Painter was asked about it after the game as somebody who grew up admiring Bob Knight, things like that, wanting to play at IU, as he would tell you. Bob Knight's part of the reason this place is what it is, because the history of Purdue and Indiana, a lot of Purdue's basketball identity was tied up in being the school that was the thorn in Bob Knight's side, things like that. What he did to the environment here, as Matt Painter said, Bob Knight made Purdue better, and that's, I don't know if you could put it any better. I remember when I was first starting here, some of those Indiana games, just a different deal, man. I used to stand in the tunnel when I was first starting out at Golden Black, and I would wait for Knight to come out, and I would kind of saunter out behind him, like a barnacle on a ship, and just to experience what he was doing to this arena when he just walked out onto the floor, and it was absolutely surreal. Absolutely surreal. I remember being around him a little bit at Big Ten Media Days, and just, he was just so interesting. I mean, he was obviously a very, very complicated, very, very multi-layered individual, for better and worse, and a lot of worse. But I think he made basketball better. He inspired a lot of great college basketball coaches and a lot of terrible high school coaches. But I think that, obviously the game lost one of its great contributors, one of its most influential figures, and one of the bigger personalities the game will ever see and has ever seen. And I think college basketball needs icons. They need it. That's always the way the game has been. It needs these larger than life figures, and it needs bad guys. And for a lot of people, Bob Knight was the good guy. For a lot of people, Bob Knight was the villain. And great, that sort of dynamic, good guys versus bad guys, is great for sport. It's great for drama. And his basketball influence on this game has been really considerable, but his cultural influence on college basketball has been really considerable as well. And I don't know why I felt compelled to say that, but it's just his presence has always been kind of a thing around here, and it just felt important to, not important, but something that would definitely kill time on this video. So a big story in college basketball, a big story in Indiana, obviously, and we wish the best to his family. So I'm sure you will be reading a lot more about Bob Knight in the newspapers to come, and so on and so forth. But that's what I got on that, and that's what I got from Purdue's 98-51 win over Grace College. Exhibition game. That's a very important point. Doesn't count. 98-51 over Grace College. Thank you once again to the Purdue Club Hotel for your promotional support. We appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for reading. Thank you for listening. And thank you for processing our materials, however it is you process our materials, even if you're an Arkansas fan. So thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you again Monday night.